Okay, picture this. You've got an arena that is just completely destroyed. The ground is shattered into pieces, and the crowd, they are sitting in absolute breathless silence. We are witnessing 4 straight hours of relentless, bone-crushing combat. On one side, you have Lee Kyun. She's a rank 10 hunter, which means she is quite literally one of the absolute strongest human beings walking the planet. And on the other side, a complete unknown rookie with 0 innate mana, fighting with absolutely nothing but his bare hands. Yet somehow, he isn't just barely surviving this fight, he is pushing a world-class powerhouse to her absolute limit.
So you're probably wondering, how on earth is that even possible? Well, what the rest of the world doesn't know is that this rookie really isn't a rookie at all. So the core question we're tackling in this explainer is, what exactly happens when a grizzled veteran, a guy hardened by decades in a truly hellish, unforgiving fantasy world, brings his brutal combat experience and his reality-breaking powers back to modern-day Earth?
Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're uncovering the cinematic, incredibly action-packed saga of The Paradox Flame, Rebirth of an Overpowered Hunter. We're going to trace the unbelievable journey of Seok, a man who survived absolute hell only to realize his fight was honestly just getting started. Let's get into
Section 1. Escaping a Hellish World. All right, let's rewind a bit to 2005. Seok was just your ordinary run-of-the-mill 20-year-old office worker, until a goddess yanked him into a brutal alternate dimension. You know, the classic, you have to save our world setup. But for 20 agonizing years, he fought tooth and nail in a realm that had 0 human rights, horrific medicine, and just constant, unending death. Finally, in 2025, he beats the ultimate boss monster, and his reward for saving the world? Immediate betrayal. Yep, his so-called comrades, a saintess, a mage, and a knight, plot to execute him simply out of jealousy and fear. Disgusted by the whole thing, Seok demands the goddess actually keep her promise to send him back. She obliges, placing his soul back on Earth, but in the body of a recently laid-off civilian named Shanak. So, Seok wakes up, thrilled to finally have fried chicken and air conditioning again, right up until he looks out his window. He realizes Earth has been overrun by these monster-spewing corrosion rifts for the last 13 years. And to make matters worse, the poor guy is completely out of money.
Section 2. Dominating the Hunter Trials.
So he's broke and needs a job in this bizarre new monster-infested economy. Seok does literally the only thing he knows how to do. He enters the Hunter Academy selection trials. And you really have to notice the massive contrast in combat philosophy here. On one hand, you've got these pampered academy hunters who rely heavily on stored mana and super flashy theoretical techniques. And then you have Seok. He has 0 innate mana in his new body. He uses 0 weapons, but what he does have is 20 years of visceral, life-or-death survival instincts. The tournament basically becomes a brutal stat check for these kids. He easily dismantles everyone, including the Academy's top student, Han Sa. She actually tries to use this crazy lightning-infused sword like an electromagnetic railgun, right? But Seok literally just dodges the lightning because her attack path is way too predictable. He knocks her out cold with just 2 punches.
Well, the officials are totally stunned, the entire arena is thrown into complete chaos, and that is exactly when a special exhibition match is unexpectedly announced. Rank 10 hunter Lee Kyun steps onto the stage. She's a pro, and she immediately senses that Seok is hiding something absolutely terrifying behind his brute force. As they clash, though, Seok's new, completely untrained body starts failing him. His breathing grows super heavy, fatigue is just dragging him down, and he is pushed to the absolute brink.
Section 3. The Paradox Flame Explained.
Cornered and totally exhausted, Seok finally reveals the ultimate ability that is engraved into his very soul. He unleashes the Paradox Flame. Now, the absolutely crucial thing to understand here is how this unique skill breaks all the normal rules of magic. Normal fire, as we know, burns physical matter using oxygen, right? The Paradox Flame, however, it uses abstract concepts as fuel. Let's break down how this turns into a ridiculously overpowered combat loop. Step 1. Seok draws ambient mana directly from the air just to ignite the flame. Step 2. He targets a specific abstract concept to burn. Now, he can't safely burn high-level concepts like reason or memory just yet, so instead, he burns the concept of his own fatigue. Step 3. Just like burning wood releases heat, burning abstract concepts releases pure mana. Step 4. This creates a literal infinite power loop. He burns his exhaustion to generate mana, which fuels the flame, which burns more exhaustion. His speed and power instantly snap back to peak condition, allowing him to fight Lee Kyun at an apocalyptic, world-ending level for 4 straight hours, completely shattering her understanding of what a rookie can even do.
Section 4. Soloing Natural Disasters. So after earning Kuhn's massive respect from that insane fight, Seok officially becomes a freelance hunter. He even takes his former tournament rival Han Sa under his wing as his disciple. Now, to truly grasp the stakes of his new career, we need to look at how this world classifies corrosion rifts. A Grade 3 rift, that packs the destructive power of a military tank. Grade 2 scales all the way up to the level of a localized natural disaster. And Grade 1, that is a national threat requiring the full mobilization of the military.
On his very first freelance mission at Godungo Island, an unclassified rift unexpectedly upgrades to a Grade 3 threat. It's a huge deal. While all the seasoned hunters are panicking and retreating, Seok just casually dives solo right into the rift core. He wipes out the monsters and single-handedly destroys the core. When the next monthly hunter rankings drop, the entire nation is absolutely shocked. This unknown, supposed rookie rockets straight to the #1 spot on the leaderboards.
But of course, Seok isn't stopping there. To solidify his independence from the big guilds, he takes on what everyone thinks is a suicide mission, rescuing hostages on Tsushima Island. This is a terrifying Grade 2 natural disaster rift. Alongside Sung, he breaches an undead-filled castle. Here, he goes up against a towering samurai monster that uses an ultimate prediction technique called Mind's Eye. But Seok? He easily counters it using the state of selflessness, proving once and for all that true, gritty battlefield instincts will always beat flashy technique names. He then gets into a brutal, flesh-tearing duel with a Grade 2 core, who is this tragic undead swordsman. By burning the literal concept of durability in the surrounding area, Seok completely shatters the swordsman and claims his cursed blade for himself.
Section 5. The Terrorist Conspiracy.
During that Tsushima Island rescue, Seok uncovers a truly horrifying truth. The monsters aren't the only enemies humanity is dealing with. He discovers that the captured fishermen weren't being held for ransom, and they weren't just monster food either. They were actually being used as test subjects for a grim, twisted experiment. They were intentionally being thrown into rifts just to see exactly how they transformed.
And this leads us to the dark, human element of our story. There's a radical terrorist faction operating in the shadows known as the Descendants of Dangun. Their terrifying goal? They want complete control over the corrosion rifts to ensure South Korean global supremacy, and they don't care how many innocent lives they have to sacrifice to get it. Seok ends up confronting one of their operatives, a Taekwondo master named Kim Jong. After a brutal clash, Seok unleashes a devastating 16-hit combo using the Paradox Flame to literally burn away Jong's muscle strength. But just as Seok is about to finish him off, the faction's leader drops in, a mysterious bow-wielding captain. And guys, this captain is terrifying. He is estimated to be at least 4 times stronger than rank 10 Lee Kun. 4 times! The captain rescues his operative and vanishes, leaving Seok with a very grim warning of the massive conflict to come.
Section 6. The Siberian Train Ambush.
This escalating threat brings us directly into a conflict of massive international proportions. A highly secretive tech organization, Embargo Tower, steps in and hires Seok and Lee Kun for a giant escort mission. They have to protect an 80-car train traveling across the frozen, unforgiving Siberian railway. And the cargo? It's a prototype shield generator, a device built from depleted uranium that can actually create barriers against the corrosion creatures. If this works, it could literally save a collapsing Europe. Naturally, this makes their train the single biggest target on the face of the Earth.
And predictably, the trap is sprung perfectly. As they cross the snowy wasteland, the train is ambushed. But it's not just a random monster attack, it's a highly coordinated military strike. A rogue operative from the Descendants of Dangun actually manages to completely seal away Lee Kun using a complex barrier. So, with their absolutely strongest fighter trapped and useless, the control room delivers a chilling report. 500 heavily armed hostile forces are rapidly closing in on the train.
Leading this massive assault is Nikolai Baranov, a terrifying Russian warlord. And he is definitely not fighting fair. He descends from the sky wearing a stolen Predator suit. This is a canceled, highly classified Korean military exoskeleton that allows him to fly and fight without using a single drop of mana. Hovering above the snowy battlefield, Nikolai confidently demands their immediate surrender.
But as we know by now, Seok doesn't really do surrender. Realizing that Nikolai's suit basically makes him a flying physical tank, Seok decides to bypass the armor entirely. He channels the Paradox Flame, specifically targeting and burning away the abstract concept of the suit's durability. With the armor instantly compromised, Seolk unleashes a blinding flurry of strikes, cleanly slicing the flying warlord completely in half and utterly shattering the ambush.
Luckily, Lee Kun manages to shatter her seal just as the battle ends. The terrorists retreat into the snow and the train pushes forward. But the relief is painfully short-lived. As the hunters desperately try to treat their wounded, the radio violently cracks back to life. A massive, terrifying horde of slimes is now pursuing the train, heading straight for that shield generator. With the hunters totally exhausted, a suspected mole potentially hiding somewhere in the military escort, and the descendants of Dangun still plotting in the shadows, what absolute nightmare awaits Seong next on those frozen tracks of Siberia? Well, you'll have to keep exploring to find out. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I will see you next time.